Urgent. The board just shifted for Chicago's pass rush. And the move I've been tracking isn't a splash for headlines. It's a surgical fix for January football. I'm talking leverage, timeline, and a profile that flips third downs without blowing up the future. Stay with me because the pattern is unmistakable if you know where to look. And yes, there's a reason the building moved from curiosity to action. Here's what I'm going to do for you right now. I'll map the exact on-field problem the Bears need to solve in October if they want to play meaningful games in January. Then I'll walk through the market dynamics around a top-tier edge who is available in the right kind of way. High impact, shorter control, negotiable price. Then I'll put names, packages, and timelines into a clean decision tree. What it costs, what it buys, how it fits. I'm not here to sell fairy tales. I'm here to tell you how smart teams hunt value while everyone else argues on social media. Start with the field. The Bears' defense took a jump when they added a true alpha to one edge. That move forced protections to declare and cut the offense's menu in half on obvious pass downs. But you and I both saw what happened when the pocket didn't collapse from the opposite side. Quarterbacks stepped into clean lanes. Second effort died at 3 yards, and drives lived on 3rd and 6. That's not about effort. That's about geometry. You need a second rusher who wins the edge quickly enough to close escape routes and compress timing windows. Not a name for the jersey wall, a closer for the 2 snaps per series that decide everything. Now the market. There's an edge in the AFC who checks every box for this system. Elite first step, long arm stab that ruins sets, effort motor late in games, and the kind of pass rush IQ that thrives in simulated pressure. He's on a 1-year premium money arrangement. He's produced at a top-tier level for multiple seasons. And his current team is trapped in the worst place to negotiate from. A shaky start layered over injury uncertainty to the franchise quarterback. The relationship has been complicated for more than a year. Request, denial, renew request, short-term resolution. That kind of history creates leverage for a win now. Buyer with clean cap books and a clear playoff path. Let's talk fit before I say the name out loud. In this defense, you don't need a science experiment. You need a speed-to-power rusher who can run the wide 9 opposite your closed side, play through contact, and finish. You want someone who resets the pocket depth by the 3rd step, because that's where the ball has to be out in the modern NFL. You also want a grown-up who understands how to compress the B-gap when the call asks for it, not chase ghost sacks and open run lanes on the way to the stat sheet. This is a building that values assignment football. You earn the green light by doing your job, then you hunt dot protection dash-wise. Pairing a closer with Chicago's existing alpha edge means one thing. No more routine 3-man slides with a back chip and a guarded quarterback climb. You force the OC to pick a poison on Tuesday night, not Sunday at 1 o'clock. Add interior games with the young tackles who are finally playing faster. And you get that beautiful thing we haven't seen enough. The second push that turns a near pressure into a drive-killing strip or a throwaway on 3rd dash and dash 5. Now zoom out. The timeline matters as much as the tape. The closer you get to the deadline, the more prices soften unless you're the one chasing. A smart front office weaponizes patience without losing proximity. That means calls have been made, parameters have been tested, and packages have been drafted with clear red lines. The seller asks for the moon early, a young defensive starter and a future one. Around the league, some call that price heavy, not insane. Translation: it will move, but only for a buyer with conviction and a roster that can absorb the cap and the roll. Without drama, contract mechanics are actually favorable if you know what to do. Because this is a 1 year at a premium, you're not marrying the player's sight unseen. You're renting the right to find out if he's your finishing piece and, if so, to negotiate on your terms. You take on the in-season portion of the cash. You protect yourself with conditional assets. And you keep the renewal conversation optional until you see how it plays opposite your star. That's how you buy January wins in October without torching your April. Okay, let's stop dancing. The name is Trey Hendrickson. The reason is production plus predictability. I care about two things in an edge for Chicago. Does he win within the timing of a normal NFL pass play? And does he play with the discipline to be part of a four-man rush when you need coverage to hold? Hendrickson checks both. His get-off creates immediate horizontal stress. His hands are violent and linear, no wasted semicircles on the arc. And his finish rate on clean wins is what it is. Quarterbacks don't escape out his side as often, even when he doesn't get the sack. Because the edge is set at a depth that forces ugly throws. What does that mean for the Bears' existing stars? It cleans up Montez Sweat's world, plain and simple. Less sliding his way. More true one-on-ones. For the interior, it means games hit faster. For the back seven, it means more balls on schedule, which is where your safeties eat and your linebackers cash PBUs. For the defensive coordinator, it means you don't have to dial heat to get heat. You can live in a too-high shell more often, pick your spots, and come out of games with fresher legs in the fourth quarter. Let's price it. The opening sticker floating around the league has been a young defender plus a future first. That's an anchor, not a fate. If you're Chicago, you push for a structure that protects. You're first with conditions tied to team outcome and player. Availability, think playoff advancement or snap. Thresholds, and you offer a day 2 pick with a 2026 escalator if the run gets real. If the seller insists on a 1, you fight to put top 15 protection or conversion language on it. This is how adults negotiate. You pay for wins, not for vibes. Depth chart ripple effects. They're real and manageable. Hendrickson as your stand-up or hand-in-dirt rusher on the open side lets you reduce snaps for rotational edges into ideal roles early downs, specific packages, special teams. It also lets you cut the hero snaps where guys try to do too much because the other side isn't winning. If you've watched this front closely, you know the hidden benefit. Better run fits when you're not chasing sacks through run lanes. Complementary football starts on the edges. Now the question I know you're asking, how real is this? Here's the most honest version I can give you. Inside Hollis Hall, the target is no longer a list of names. It's a name with a plan. The Bears have done the homework, tested the numbers, and lined up a proposal that respects both the locker room and the long-term build. The building has effectively confirmed internally Trey Hendrickson as the priority addition for this pass rush. The external reality? It takes two. The Bengals control the final yes, and they will squeeze value until the calendar tells them not to. That's where the next 2 to 3 weeks become the entire story. 3 scenarios from here, clean and simple. Scenario A. Chicago pays a premium, but with protections, gets Hendrickson in the building before the deadline, and the defense's third down identity hardens overnight. Scenario B. The price softens late, a compromised package lands, and you still get the closer without touching the biggest future assets. Scenario C. The seller holds, the price never comes into range. And Chicago pivots to a cheaper rotational piece while saving ammo for March. I know which scenario wins. January games. Let me also be clear about risk. You're adding a high-cost rusher in season. Chemistry matters. You manage reps the first 2 weeks, you keep the call sheet simple, and you let the man do what he does best, win fast. You build the extension conversation around performance and culture fit, not name value. And you make sure the rest of the room hears the same message I'm giving you. This is not about one superstar walking in to save the day. This is about finishing the picture the front office started when it committed resources to the first edge. Now, I want to hear from you before I land the plane. What's your line in the sand on compensation? Would you do a protected 2026 first with conditions? Or is it hard cap at a second and a young depth piece? Do you want the front office to push now? Or would you slow play this into the last 48 hours before the deadline and dare the seller to blink? And once in the building, are you playing Hendrickson primarily at the open side in a wide 9? Or mixing him into reduced fronts to create inside wins on third and medium? Drop your take below. Because this community has been sharp on trench play all year, and I read every single comment. My concise analysis, confirming Trey Hendrickson as the priority target and executing if the price lands within protected ranges is the right football decision. It amplifies what the Bears already do well. It lowers the blitz dependency that can get you killed against elite quarterbacks. And it directly addresses the one thing every playoff defense needs in 2025, a second closer who wins on time. If the seller drags the ask into the ridiculous, you walk. But if it lands where adults do business, you sprint. I'm ready for Chicago to finish what it started on the edge. If you value straight talk with real football detail, make sure you subscribe to Bears News Fan Report, turn on notifications, and share this with a friend who texts you during every third down. I'll keep you updated the moment the board moves, and when it does, we'll break the tape together.